100 years, so like 21.3, we will all be buried with our families and friends. Strangers will live in our homes that we worked so hard to build, and someone else will own everything we have today. Most of our possessions will be given away or thrown out and destroyed, including the car that we spent our fortune on, and will probably be scrapped. Our descendants will hardly know who we are, nor will they remember us. How many of us know who our grandfather's father was? After we die, we will be remembered for a few more years, and then we're just a portrait from someone's wall. And a few decades later, our history, photos, and deeds disappear into histories of oblivion. We won't even be memories. If we pause one day to analyze these questions, perhaps we would understand how pointless it is for us to worry about 95% of the things that consume our minds daily. If we could only think about this shortly, our approaches, our thoughts would change, and we would do things differently. Perhaps we would feel more free to enjoy ourselves and our lives that we're living. Take these thoughts into the rest of your day this week, this year. And remember this saying, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes being upset by it.
Good evening and welcome to the third edition of Secrets to Success, the Men's Mental Health and Healing podcast. This is the third edition, and it's going to be a really powerful edition, probably the best of the series so far. But as usual, we're going to kick it off with prayer and jump straight into it because we've got a short time. So let's join me in prayer. Father God, we thank you for another day. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, Lord, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Mark, you're going to set off the tone.
Okay, let's set off the tone as we always do each and every week. May his wisdom and guidance flow through every word spoken and every listener's heart. May this show serve as a catalyst for change, breaking down barriers and fostering understanding between men and women. I pray that as these conversations unfold, men will find solace in knowing that they are not alone in their struggles. May they feel empowered to open up, share their experiences, and seek the support they need to heal and grow. May the stories shared on this show inspire men to prioritize their own well-being, recognizing that self-care is not a sign of weakness, but a necessary step towards becoming the best version of themselves. May they find the strength to confront their inner demons, break free from social expectations, and embrace their true selves. I pray that these conversations will also ignite a spark within families, communities, and the nation as a whole. May they serve as a reminder that true change starts from within, and that by addressing the needs of men, we can create a ripple effect that will positively impact everybody around us. May women, as they listen and take note, gain a deeper understanding of the unique challenges men face. May they learn how to provide the support, love, and understanding that men need, without judgment or expectations. May they become allies in this journey towards healing and growth, standing side by side with the men in their lives. As these initial conversations pave the way for something greater, I pray that doors will open, opportunities will arise, and resources will be made available to further support men's mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. May this show be just the beginning of a movement that brings about lasting change and a renewed sense of purpose for men everywhere. In all of this, I give thanks to the Most High out heavenly, to our Heavenly Father, for the presence and guidance. May his love and grace surround each participant and listener. creating a safe space for vulnerability, growth, and transformation. May this show be a testament to his power to heal and to restore, and may it bring glory to his name. Amen.
Yes, yes.
No, that was good, you know. That was really good. Even though I've heard it a couple of times, I really heard it today still.
Yeah.
This week we're going to talk about forgiveness, but we're going to recap.
We're gonna
recap,
before we do
Scott.
that, we might have some new people that's tuning in for the first time. So I think it would be helpful if we just went around and everyone just said their name,
Quick one.
or a quick intro, because we potentially, when we started, we don't know how many, but I think we might have some new listeners. So let's just do a recap of who we are.
100%.
So I'm going to start. My name's Anthony Scott. Everyone calls me Scott. And outside of this space here, I have my own private practice and I do lots of training with social care and police and around serious youth violence and trauma.
My name's Anthony Spencer, known as Spencer, and I'm a published author, a recruitment professional, and it's our third time here. And I want to thank the public for the feedback we've received and those who've contacted me privately. And yeah, I look forward to today's session.
My name's Mark Rowe. Some know me as Marky Mark. I'm all things young people, mentoring, teaching, tutoring. I also host a talk show that I failed to mention before.
Yes.
The freedom of speech, and passionate about the involvement of our people.
Okay, before I introduce myself, I want to introduce Spencer Foran in his absence. He sends his apologies once again. He promises he will be joining us next week.
Busy guy.
Can I just stop you there, bro? A promise is a comfort to who?
Okay.
Well, we are not friends.
No, but he's a busy guy.
Even if we forgot, we pick him up next week. We are going to do that.
Sports reporters
yeah,
are
Spencer
busy.
Foran is a boxing historian, a pundit, and just overall great guy, family man. My name is Marlon Morris. I'm founder and director of Legacy Foundation, which is a group of charitable initiatives like the Legacy Foundation, which is a CIC, a community interest company, and also we do a lot of commercial stuff, so around property development, maintenance, and renovations. We've got an entertainment company called Few Good Men. We put on the Legacy annual Legacy Gala, which is it's a prestigious event awarding black excellence in our community and showcasing the best of us to inspire the rest of us. So that's just a few things of what we do.
Thank you. Just to kind of put some context, so last week we had Mark Prince, and he came and he gave his testimony around his journey. Unfortunately, he can't be with us today because of his foundation's commitments, but he has assured us that he will come and kind of do some thinking with us again next week. So he'll be here next week. And I just wanted to kind of bring it to some kind of context around what we explored. So we talked about forgiveness, and his story was really powerful in terms of how he used his pain, which at the time he didn't know, for a bigger purpose, and how he found that forgiveness. But we focused on how do we turn something that's negative that's happened in our life into a positive thing. And as you see us all sitting here today, we've all got our own kind of stories around how we've had different traumatic experiences that we have used to help us become better versions of ourselves. And if we was to kind of explore that a little bit, everyone here would be able to tell you significant times in their life when something has happened where that pain has almost given them a new direction, a new purpose, a new focus in life. And sometimes as men, we struggle with that pain. We don't know, what am I feeling this pain for? Is this pain just to make me hurt? But sometimes that pain is actually to give you some direction. And I think Mark's story and his testimony, especially when he spoke about his connection to his religion, to Christianity, to God, and how that gave him so much direction. And sometimes as men, as women, as people, Sometimes we need some different answers. Sometimes we need to connect to a different space where we can actually do some self-work, understand ourselves. So before we started today, we was having a little bit of discussion around trauma in our community, and I think we're going to expand on that next week in terms of how that shaped our community, how it shapes us as individuals. But today we're just going to continue the conversation a little bit around pain to purpose, and then we're going to talk about forgiveness. What is forgiveness? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Some people think forgiveness is something that you just do. Forgiveness is a daily process. When you've been harmed, when you've been betrayed, when you've been hurt, you never forget. You learn to forgive. And some days you wake up and you might feel anger, you might feel rejection, you might feel hurt, you might feel disappointment, you might feel shame, you might feel guilt. And all of those feelings is about forgiveness. And forgiveness is about self. So we're going to talk a little bit about forgiveness and when we can't forgive, because we know some people that's gone through some traumatic experiences where they can't forgive people. So Mark's testimony about how he forgave the person that took his son's life and found purpose in that. Some people, Mark, you work with young people, I work with young people. We have seen firsthand the impact of serious youth violence when people die, young people die. And it's such a difficult journey for a parent and process. And I think when I think about learning and growing, some people think it's the end. It's not. It's the process that you go through when you're learning. What did I learn about myself? What did I understand about myself? What is my stuff and what is other people's stuff? How do I unpack my stuff so that I don't actually project my stuff onto people? And as I said, as a therapist, a lot of the time I'm working with people that's got stuff that they haven't processed, and it will manifest itself in so many aspects of their life. So just to kind of bring us back into the space, I just wanted to talk a little bit about pain to purpose. I wanted to check in with people about their own reflections. Can anyone highlight or wants to explore, there was something that happened to me, whether it's in school, when you were adolescents. Last week we spoke about the camp. I said, we're not going to call it the camp. We're going to call it what it is. We're going to call it HMP prison, because that's what it is. When you go to prison, you lose your freedom, you lose your liberty. So that could be a pain to purpose process. I know some people that have been institutionalized, not only in the prison system, but in the mental health system. Some people have been institutionalized in the work aspect. Me personally, I find it really challenging when people tell me they've been in a job for 20 years. I find it, okay, that's a little bit challenging for me, because I'm asking where is the growth. So I just wanted to check in with people around a painful or something that was a turning point in my life, Scotty. Like, I went through this, and I could share some of my stuff, but I want to throw it out to you guys. So
let me kick it off. Kick it off. You know, this is... Some people don't really want to talk about the things that was really painful, because, you know, it makes them feel vulnerable. You understand? They don't know who's watching. Your colleagues could be watching, your family members, your enemies, all kind of people. But there's something this week that happened. There's two things this week that happened to me, that I'm finding very hard to forgive.
Okay.
But I'll start with this one, right? So I'm 15. Right? I'm 15 years old, right? And I got a lot of friends, we hear that there's a party. We're in Edmonton, and we hear that there's a party in Battersea, a sweet 16 birthday party in Battersea, right? So what we do, there's about 50 of us, right? This is before the days of car, before the days of Uber,
Travel car.
Yeah. We decided, say, we are go pug it. They used to call us the puggers. You know when they're pugging? It's when you walk and talk, yeah? So we decided to walk from Edmonton to Seven Sisters, yeah?
How far is that's a long walk?
Yeah, Seven Sisters to Stamfordhill. Stamfordhill to Stoke Newton. Stoke Newton to Hackney. Hackney to Shoreditch. Shoreditch to Liverpool Street, Liverpool Street to Elephant and Castle.
Bloody hell.
Then we take a little break, them time that we used
Almost
to...
tired.
I would be tired by the time I got to
You
Stamford.
do walk down all of that.
By the time I
Bro,
got to Stamford,
we
I
never
would be
stopped there.
tired.
We leave from Elephant and Castle, we went to Vauxhall. And from Vauxhall, we end up at Battersea. So we get there now. We get in the house now. The girl turn on the light
Oh, them ones.
and start walk around the whole of the house and say,
want
you, and you, and you. You wasn't invited. Get out my house, get out my house.
How many times you all heard
Get
that,
out.
boy?
Listen, we had to walk back to Edmonton, the same route.
What?
So whoever that girl is, whoever you're watching right now, I find it very hard to forgive the situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before
But
you
what that has taught me, yeah, don't go, you're not invited.
Yeah.
right.
There's a lot of learning in
And
that.
why did I make light of that? Because it's these little small things that if you don't deal with them, they turn into big things. You know what I'm trying to say to you? Right? And so another thing happened to me, and I'm going to say this. This week I went to Ghana. I went there with all the aspirations and hopes to buy land and I'm trying to say, looking at a retirement plan in Ghana. First few days was absolutely amazing. My birthday's coming up. Something that I've never done in the last 18 years. I've had a big party. You know, this was intimate just for me. We've gone out to have a dinner. As we've left there, I'm waiting for the rest of the guys to come so we get in the car. You know, these little local youths, them that are hustling. He approaches me and says, "Oh, you want to escort to your car?" I said, "No, I don't need no escort to the car." He's still walking me to the car. So he's opened the door. So I said, "I don't need the door open." He said, "Oh, give me 20 CDs. So I've got my bag. So I'm looking, turn my head. I've put my phone down on the dashboard. As I'm looking for the 20 CDs, I've shut the door. My brethren at the back said, "No, I've got 20 CDs because I didn't have no change." So he's gone to the back. I've shut the door. We've driven off. Between me turning my back to my bag and shutting the door, my phone is gone. 14 Plus Pro iPhone. Bro, by the time we speed back, the boy them gone. It left a big disdain in my heart. But then I thought about it though, because losing your phone in these times when you've got all your emails, you got all your PIN numbers, you
Just
got
the worst thing
pictures
ever.
from my mum recovering from hospital. It's a big inconvenience. You understand? Could you imagine losing your phone right
Mate,
now?
it will kill me if I lost my phone right now.
But God said to me,
There's just so much.
God said to me, if he had to take it, he probably needs it. And sometimes your pain is somebody else's. It might be
Fortune.
fortune.
Could be somebody else's fortune.
But if he took it out of opportunity, spite, or greed, he's not going to prosper. You see what I'm trying to say to you? Because the inconvenience, even now I'm still inconvenienced, you understand? But I'm at peace because I've released him. You see what I'm trying to say to you? Yeah? And I've still got that aspirations for Ghana. So it never touched my purpose. Yeah? It might have distracted me for a moment, but
When you mentioned, when we talked about that before we came on air, yeah, the first thing I said to you, those are the hardest ones to forgive. You know, when you go to do right by somebody, or you mean well by
And
somebody,
then do you wrong, so.
and they sneak up and do you wrong or backstab you, those are the hardest that I find to forgive. If I've done someone the whole time I've known you, for example, if I've done you right, always thought well about you, you call me and I'm there, you understand? And then I find out later on that you weren't dealing with me well. Those
way.
I find
Yeah.
the hardest ones to forgive.
Well,
That's like, you see that? For me, that's like impersonal. I don't know the person.
all right then.
So it's an opportunist thief. But if you've got a brethren that you've done bits with over years and they do some unhonourable things, i.e., you know, be phoning up your missus when you're not there,
That's
trying
not
to
an
make.
honourable. That's just the damn right liberty. We don't
That's
it's
No,
not
but like,
honouring
there's some careless
But-
behaviour that happens
I think that
in
I
our
think I'll put
community
that
where
down to my
people
missus
do
rather
that.
than- rather than
that,
do-
that,
I'll
that,
put that down to the
behaviour.
missus because the first time that happens, your missus is supposed to
Call that out.
call him
Call it
out,
out. That's
and
right.
put him in his spot.
But
so
you know what?
That's that. I would a scenario like that. I'd put down to my missus,
Bro,
not the guy.
sometimes, you know what a man said to me? Your greatest enemy is your best friend and your woman who you're lying down with. Because they are the one they can be, potentially, your
They know
worst
your
enemy.
secrets.
Because they know your secrets. They are the ones that
Because
you're
you-
pillow
what Bob
talking
said?
with. Yeah?
What Bob
But
said?
when you say it like that,
What
it's-
Bob said?
What Bob said? Only your best friend know your secret. Only them can reveal it.
Yeah.
So,
And it's, yeah, I think
How do
that
you,
level
how
is
do you
is
forgive your
deep.
best friend that betray you?
You can't.
That abandon you?
All right, I'm
that
gonna
reject you?
I'm
Let me
gonna
ask you
share
this,
something.
Let me give you a scenario. We can all have different scenarios of forgiving people and non-forgiving. Definitely. I don't think there's any situation where anybody can tell me you can find forgiveness in it. Right? When my father died, there was a scenario, people came to the funeral and stuff. A friend of mine attended, as a few of them did, and the next day, there were some pictures on Facebook, and it was entitled, An Evening Out.
an evening out,
An evening
rather
out
than a funeral.
at
Wow.
my dad's funeral. So when I was made aware of that and saw it, obviously I went mad. So I spoke to the person, take down every one of them pictures. You understand? And I said, I saw your friend put up one as well. Tell her to take it down too. Her friend sent him back message saying, oh, if Mark wants me to take down the picture, tell him to call me. Let me tell you, I don't condone violence. So I wasn't, but I could have kicked it down 10 times over. Who are you talking to? So to this day, every now and again, I see this person. It could have never chat to me. Never. Because that's personal to me. That's my father died. It's a funeral. And you're sending message about, tell Mark to phone me. Phone who? May I have a good size 11 right so would I fit nicely?
Are you a size 11?
What?
To me, we're size 11 too.
Is
it?
So
we can walk
I
a
wear
mile in
10,
each other's shoes.
I wear 10 and 11.
That's why you can work from now.
That's
From
what-
got assault.
That's Edmonton to
my
Battersea.
foot hurt me now too.
Don't worry, I'm a size 9. My foot little.
So
I'm sorry to hear that.
in
man.
things like that, I would have never.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances, even though my mindset, that's 13 years, has evolved a lot. And I understand forgiveness and I can forgive. And bridges that I've burnt, some of them I've built back. Because I've self-reflected and understood I had a big part to play in that as well. So don't be the ignorant one.
Yeah.
And I've built back some.
I'm going to be honest, yeah. Out of all of my growth that I've put in place, and I would honestly say, obviously, like we were saying, there's phases of growth that you go through. I'm going through phase now, like I described to you guys in uni, like being a nurse, want to train myself mentally. So I've gone through phases, and first phase started after my mum passed. Of all of my growth game, if you want to call it a game, like my weakest game is forgiving wrongs done to me. I ain't gonna lie to you, I struggle with that. Now, back in the day, I'd go for revenge and whatnot, but now I wouldn't. What I would more likely do is just cut them off and find it hard to get back on that forgiving trip or journey with them. I just cut them off, and I'm comfortable.
Just cutting them off.
Yeah, which I don't like, because I've cut my daughter off in that sort of way. Of all the women that might have thought I offended them or whatever, no one ever scratched my car other than my daughter. My daughter's the only female that's ever scratched my car. So I've been through stuff with my daughter. When I cut someone off in that sort of way, in that mental way, that's the weakest part of my game to repair that.
Return it back.
Yeah. And I think talking right now, I need to work on that. I really do. I find that the hardest. Everything else, I'm on track. I'm sorting, I'm changing, I'm growing, I'm realizing my mistakes. I can see my mistakes blatantly. I can do all of that. But when it comes to when I've put you in that box where I've cut you off, I find it hard to take some
Bring back, yeah.
And I think
I feel that.
when we think about forgiveness, which we're going to touch on a little bit later, we can like explore like what is it about seeing that person? What feelings does it evoke? What does it trigger inside of you? And as you said, part of that forgiveness is self-compassion. When we learn self-compassion, it allows us to be compassionate to others. It allows us.
Before we get there and talk about forgiveness, we need to talk about unforgiveness, because Mark just said something which is real. You understand? And that's the realness. You get what I'm trying to say to you? Because we can always put the sugar coat on it, and man ain't hearing that. Yeah? Man ain't... Listen. When people lie on you, make up a lie, which is unbelievable, but people want to believe it because it's gossip. It's like watching EastEnders. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? You know it's a lie. You know it don't make no sense. Yeah? All right, I'm going to give you a story. Do you remember when Usher got accused of this, there was this, do you remember when the woman accused him of giving him herpes?
Giving her herpes.
She said that Usher gave her herpes. Yeah? Did you see what the woman
I can't
looked
remember
like?
that. I'm going to Google that after.
Yeah. This woman was about 50 stone. Yeah?
50 stone? No, don't say that. Nobody can 50 stone. I mean,
No disrespect to big woman, because my family big. You get me? I said to you.
50 stone are only per weight.
You can't be 50 stone with cuteness. She was not. She looked like wildebeest and Shrek and the donkey mix up with one. You understand what I'm saying to you?
How that rumor can catch
So
can
me don't
catch
know
fire.
how, but people would want to believe that Usher. Now, even if Usher was on a whole heap of ecstasy and a whole heap of different alcohol and all these kind of things, I don't think Usher would have danced into that situation there. You understand what I'm saying to you? All right. I don't know. I wasn't there. But it's just unbelievable that the lies that people can make up, yeah? How do you forgive a lie like that?
I think everyone is unique. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own level of forgiveness. For me, holding on to that is just negative energy. So when we talk about ill health in our community, a lot of the ill health is poor emotional well-being.
Before you get there, this is what I'm saying, therapist.
All right, then.
This is what I'm saying, therapist. I don't want the medication straight away. I want to get rid of the pus.
Yeah.
I want to get through the...
So how do you
What
learn?
may I say to you, when the lie, I want to talk about the effects of the lie, how that make a man feel.
Okay.
You see me I say?
Yeah.
How
See,
I make a man act.
So you know we spoke about pain to purpose.
What is the first instinct?
So you know we talked about pain to purpose.
That's
You
what I
said
would do.
cut
That's
off.
what I just cut off. And see, when I cut off, when I say cut off, yeah, when I cut off, it means when I see you on the road, I don't even recognize you.
That's
it means
what I
what
was
you
gonna
told
say
me
to you,
or the
yes.
lies you told about me, I don't even remember them. Yeah? Until someone might come up to me and go, boy, Spencer, someone said this and that and the other. Go, listen, you want to believe that? The smallest answer, the shortest statement to that comment, because I've done lock him off in that box. Do you understand? So for me, how I would deal with that, if that happened to me, that person's locked off. And whoever came and told me that story are the only person that I'm going to take time and say, you believe that? Let me tell you what happened in it. And you see, once I've done that, because that's the first I've heard of the story, once I've dealt with that and I've dealt with you that came and told me, that's it. No one else can come tell me and get a full story again. Because it's like I'm waking them up from out of that box in my head. You follow me?
But in that
So that's
part-
how I
that's
deal.
part of the
That's how
process,
I
though.
deal with that.
Spence, that's
and
part
then
of the process.
there is no more process to deal with after that.
Right.
Do you understand? I ain't forgiven them. I'm not saying I've forgiven them. I'm not looking for them to go harm them either. I'm not losing sleep over it. I'm not thinking about what they said. I'm not doing nothing about it. To me, they just deleted. It's like you delete an email you're trying to write to somebody and you delete it, it's gone. That's how I deal with that.
Yeah, I would say that in the sense of that there's people, like the scenario I gave you, I would never, ever forgive, but I'm at that level where you don't mean nothing to me. I see you and don't see you. So
That's right.
that's the kind of first level you got to get to. And then if after a time you see them and you do start to see them, then maybe you need to check yourself to think, is this a bridge that can be made? But If not me, once it's off, like you're saying, that's it.
That's it.
I just see you and don't see you. I don't see you and think about that situation again. I just look through you like a duppy.
Listen, I
don't
divorced
see
my
you.
ex-wife, and she tell half the people come and told me she's talking about she left you. I don't care. Here's the divorce papers. Who's the respondent? She's the respondent. So that shit happens, and all that did was backfire on her because she's in that box right now where she shouldn't have been in that box. But am I bothered about what she's telling? I don't care what you're telling people. I don't care
Sorry
about
to
it.
cut you there,
But
but we do care. Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't even show people the papers.
No, like I said, the person who come and told me.
Right.
Remember I
was
said
the
to you,
one
the
that
first person that will come and tell me that sort of stuff is who I will show. I basically screenshotted the divorce papers and sent it. See who left who in it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Do you know
from
of an example of in your life or in another man's life where you know he's been done wrong and he's not responded or he's forgiven it? What does forgiveness truly look like?
Too many
I know
people.
you're saying cut off.
Yeah.
I know you're saying see me and don't see me.
You see, for me now, yeah, forgiveness means to me is that, remember I spoke when we said behavior is normally driven by emotions. So when you try and be a bit curious about why did that person behave like that? What could they have been feeling? You almost have some compassion for them because they've probably got their own trauma and they've projected their stuff onto you. So for me, when people have done me wrong, I'll tell you, because I was going to talk about pain and purpose, and I'm going to talk about pain and purpose, but I'm going to give you a scenario, or not even a scenario, that's something that happened. So years ago, like I'm in my late 20s, early 30s, I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm outside, I'm working, I'm on the pavement, I'm putting in work. And I met this guy through a mutual friend, Jamaican geezer, come from Tivoli Garden. And this geezer, me and him was knocking head for about a year. Up and down. Geezer, I got pictures of this geezer still holding my baby, my son. Come to my mum's house. I'm working with him. I'm showing him like, boom, this is these people, this is this people, this is what they do, this is how they make things happen, etc., etc. So one day now, I'm out and about. I got to pick up some paper off the road. So I'm going to different places to see different people. I got 25 large in the car, and this geezer's in the motor. You know that old Jamaican saying, never see come see. He never seen 25 bags.
Right. Gone.
Geezer's cut, bruv. And then he's gone over South London, because that's where the rest of them TG man lives. They was all in Deptford. There used to be a pub over there called Warmer Castle.
Peckham.
They all used to hang around that way, yeah? And I was like, it was like a couple of days I had to figure out how am I going to sort out this paper with the people then first, because I got to sort out that. Then I got to think about this. And he's gone to America. About 5 years later, he was married here. His wife sent me a picture. Geezer's in an orange jumpsuit, bruv, in prison, doing one of them 100-year bids. Now, in my heart, when he nicked the money, it was a great betrayal because this geezer came to me mum's house and at dinner. I let him in. But then, when I saw him in the orange jumpsuit, there was a little bit of joyousness in my heart. I'm thinking, this geezer's getting it, bruv. He's getting it all over the shop. But then, I thought about, what did he go through for him to be so easy to betray somebody? There was something that he might have been going through, he might have experienced. And like, in my heart, I didn't forget what happened. Because for about 4 months, I had to graft like a donkey to get the money back, innit? And I didn't forget what happened. But I kind of forgive because I said, you know, like, this geezer's... And like...
Sorry to cut you, did that thought pattern, I wonder what he went through to do that. Did that come after you trained as a therapist? Or did that come?
It came...
I don't think it would have came at that time, right?
It didn't come at that time.
Right.
At that time, the feeling was...
I'm going to get him.
Nah, the feeling was in America. I know in here they don't have the same stuff they have in America. Like, we don't really have that thing in America where a man's walking with lipstick and all that stuff and that. And I'm saying, they're doing this, geezer, so he's getting his comeuppance, isn't it? Because he's getting it in the box. But it was years later that I felt about what kind of trauma or what did he go through for him to betray someone so easily?
So let me ask you a question there. Yeah, a lot of people, all of us, every day through life, go through trauma, but that's not always the excuse. That's not always the trend. So what if he wasn't? What if he had never gone through no trauma, and it was nothing more than he saw 25 grand, and that year that you and him spent when you let him in just went out the window. He said, "F Scotty, 25 grand's in front. I'm missing."
Yeah, it
you
could have
just
been
spoke
that.
my thoughts. You really just spoke my thoughts, because to answer that question, we got to put ourselves, we got to remember who we are. And we got to remember that a lot of grafting that we did was like a guy going to work. We was working for money. Anyone who wakes up in the morning and goes to work, they're working for the end of the month paycheck, right?
Yep.
When we was on road and doing what we was doing, it wasn't something we went through that was making us do that. We were grafting. We were working.
It's a job, isn't it? Like,
It's
we
a job.
accepted,
Exactly.
we
Exactly.
went
So,
to work,
right.
innit? Like, when we
Exactly.
used to go
So-
to work, we go to work.
Right. So even though if me and Marlo was rolling on that day, Marlo had 25 bags in the car, there is no way I'm thinking, because I'll be thinking, brother, I gotta live with this guy. We're a community.
Yeah.
But if you're not
A foreigner.
if you're not in that
Outsider,
community,
that's right.
Yeah,
It's easy to
like
do.
I always used to say, who forget it, except my circle. That was my motto. So if I perceived you, now me and you never done stuff together, but I will see you as in that circle. Whereas I'll see another man who might be rolling with us. I raved last week and every week. In my head, he's not in my circle. So I'm in the car with him and he's put down 25 bags. As far as I'm concerned, that's work. But a man I perceive as being in my circle, different rules.
I think that part of my reflection on that, as you said, because they're more
On the outside.
they're traveling. They might be in
Transit.
South,
They're
they might
transient.
be in Birmingham. So for him, it was the ideal opportunity, and he knew, right, I'm going to go to the States. I'm going to nick this money, and it's going to probably give me a start in the States.
right.
And he's gone to the States. I think it was a murder charge. When the wife sent me the picture, like, when I first
How
saw
long
the
after? How long after he...
about 5 years I got the picture. And like, you know, like the thing with, when we've done what we've done on the road, Tesco, Asda, Morrison's, Sainsbury's, Marks and Spencer's, they all account for loss. Something that a lot of people don't account for when they're on the road
It's true,
is
yeah.
loss. And part of this game that we played is loss. Some people, when they have the loss, they think, actually, I got to defend that because my ego is now being wounded. And it's not also my ego, it's also the fact that, well, you've knocked me for 25, and if Mark knows that you've knocked me for 25,
Then he
next
might
thing
come and
Mark
knock
wants
you
to
for
knock
10,
me.
right.
So that's the lifestyle that you choose if you live that. You've got to, it's hard to find forgiveness, because if you find forgiveness in that lifestyle, that
weakness.
means everyone's going to, you're
a
food
weakness.
for everyone. It's a
It's a
weakness.
weakness.
So you can't be weak. Where we have come to now in our lives, we understand that that life probably isn't the greatest. It's not the most successful. It's not the most rewarding. Most of the young people that we work with, Mark, like who's involved in that life, I reckon about 90 out of 100 don't want it.
More than that.
So when you hear them saying they're doing county lines, they're doing 90% of them don't want it. They've just fallen into it. So again, pain to purpose. How do you turn something like that into something purposeful?
Let me give you a story, right? So, me and my brethren, we were younger, we used to live together, yeah? So we're around about 15, yeah? We used to live, I ain't gonna call no names, but every man knew who they were. But a few of us, you know what I mean? 6 or 7 of us used to live together, right? And we moved from Tottenham and we moved to Hackney, yeah? And it started off with all of us as a family. But as the life's journey began, it's like every man for himself. Yeah? I didn't have that mentality. Yeah? I was kind of the youngest, and it's like I felt like I was the glue to keeping everybody together. You know what I'm saying? Because I was the one that got the houses. Yeah? Because I left, me and my dad fell out. I had to leave the house. And then my cousin at the time had an estate agent. And at the time you could go and get 4 weeks rent in advance from the housing benefit and find your own house. You understand? So we found a 3-bedroom house at 15 and the housing benefit kicked in. I moved in all of my brethren then. When the landlord wanted to buy the house in Tottenham, we moved to Hackney. At the time, because of my age, they gave me a book. It was like one of them, you go to the gyro book.
Right.
You know,
book.
child benefit book. You go to them times it was a book and then you get X amount of money. But I never use it. So me used to just stack it up, calm. Man's on the road. You get what I'm trying to say to you? So that was, we weren't even looking at that money. So anyway, I left the gyro book, yeah, in my room. Every man's got their room, yeah? So one day I come, every man's sleeping, yeah? So I'm looking in my room for this gyro book. Can't find a gyro book, bruv, yeah? So something tell me, go in my man's room and look for the. So push the door, my man's snoring. So I look around, I see the gyro book in my room, yeah? So I said, all right, let me just see if this brother is my brother, yeah? So I come out the room, yeah? At the time I used to smoke weed, bill a spliff. Go to the room, bang the door, ba. Yo, brother, anybody see my gyro book? My man wiping out the matter of his eye. You know what, blood? Let me help you look for it.
And then tell me what, so licking my head, no.
The man I lift up his mattress, I lift up this, bloody door. Who could have teach this book? The man's helping me look for the book, bro. This is my brother, you know. This is a man I would give my last things. I'll die for this brother, yeah. Yeah, I'll go to jail for this brother. We fight together. We've got one portion of the chips, we're sharing it.
Yeah.
My man's helping me look for the book. Yeah?
Have you forgiven him?
No, listen to what I'm saying to you. Listen to what I'm saying to you. I carried it for years, blood. I carried it up to now.
So at the time, you never check him?
No, I never told him.
What,
I never told
did
him.
you pick up at the book though?
No, I let him keep it.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
Brother, I'm a Scorpio, you know.
Yeah.
I played the long game.
Christ, yeah.
Yeah, it's taken me a long time to get out of that Scorpio mentality through the revelation and knowledge of God. You know what I'm saying to you? And come out of that characteristic. But
I would have found that hard to
no, but hear what happened. Because, bro, I'm telling you about, you talk about pain to purpose. You got to have people in your life that they pretend like they're your personal friends, but they're not your personal friends. They're your purposeful friends. They are the ones that are going to drive you to be tenacious, be persistent, to be no nonsense. But they don't know they're doing it. They're doing it through their betrayal and their rejection and their abandonment. You know what I'm trying to say to you? So, you know the saying, keep your friend close, but keep your enemy what?
Closer.
Right, so he don't know, so I know. You understand what I'm saying to you? One by one, the police them's picking us off. We've gone in prison, yeah? Done our 5-year bird, whatever else. He still don't know. Come out, I've become a Christian now, yeah? I'm a fully fledged Christian. Brother, may I tell him, I'm ironing my pants from Saturday to go three services on a Sunday. Bible study on a Tuesday. I'm not having no fornication. You can't talk to me. I'm not speaking to you privately as a woman in one room without the pastor there or the ministers there. That's how devoted I am as a Christian, yeah?
We just cut you there.
I never even
What
knew
age
that
was
about you.
I was 21, but listen to this now, yeah? At the time, my brethren was making your money, millions of pounds. He was the first one to have money counter, yeah? Money counter. He couldn't even count his money. So one of the time, I bought this brand new Vauxhall Amiga. I was so proud of this Vauxhall. It's the first car I bought. as a young youth, yeah, and I was doing chauffeuring with the bishop, the pastor, them, and I feel proud, and I crashed the car, yeah, and I couldn't afford to fix it. The insurance was too much, and the brother called me, and I said, "Boy, brother, right now I'm just down." He said, "What are you down for?" This
Who's
is
the same brother that took your book?
took my book. So what are you down for? I was telling him the situation. He goes, "Yo, blood, come for that money. Come for that money, yeah." When I come for the money now, he never had the money because he's moving fast. You know a man that's on the fast lane, yeah? He had a Rolex similar to mine here now, yeah? He took it off and he said, "Here, take that, bring it to the pawn shop, whatever you get, yeah, just keep it, right?" The watch was worth about 15 grand, yeah? I took the watch, pawned it, fixed my car and everything, then paid and I got back out his watch and gave him it back, yeah? That's when I forgave him.
You know what? That's excellent. Because what you done, not telling him, I couldn't have done that. And what he did,
But his conscience,
giving you
over the
back,
years,
giving you his watch.
his conscience.
I couldn't have done that either. So to me, yeah, that's an excellent flipping story.
Do you know if he's got a conscience? Has he ever?
Yeah, he has.
That
Because
must have been
you
his
see,
conscience, though.
Bruv,
That
you
must
see
have
what
been his
happens
conscience.
there in life. If you're blessed to have a long years of relationship with a man, you see the true character of the man when he's got things and when he hasn't got
Yeah.
things. You don't know a man until he starts losing stuff. Yeah? That man went from having money counter to not even having money for corned beef and rice. You see what I'm trying to say to you?
And I think it's deep. Because as you said, there's that old saying, 7 times rise, 7 times fall, 8 times rise. And I think sometimes you don't understand yourself until you're at the depths of the ground where there's nowhere else to go. Because you can't go no lower. You've reached that low ebb where, why am I here? What's my purpose? What am I meant to do? How am I meant to function? Where am I going? You see what I'm saying? Like, and it's in them low points. And what you said about, sometimes you learn about people and you get cheap lessons. For us, 50 quid, Scotty. No problem, bruv. Cheap lesson, bruv. 50 quid. You show me who you're. It's a cheap lesson. So throughout our journeys and that, we've had some expensive lessons and we've had some cheap lessons where people have shown you their real worth. And I think money and so forth is one of the greatest things that
Shows up.
shows up the characteristics of. Because if me and you've done some work and we're working for a long period of time and we've earned money.
I'm going to tell you another story.
No, but let me finish. And we've earned money. We've worked together and we've done bits. We've as I said, business and loss, profit and loss. And we lose something. Do we take it as it's one of those things, or do we then start arguing? No, because it was your link and they done this, you got to pay. And if we've been earning for, we're supposed to be able to say, you know what, we're going to do this in the future, so it doesn't matter. We've learned a lesson together. So like,
Who's thinking like that?
But
at
that's
that
a
time,
that's a
though?
no, but
thank
you see, the people
No,
that I
that's
used to
an
work
old
with.
That's an older.
That's an old head on young shoulders.
No, but hear what now? You see the guys that I grew up with. You remember last when we first spoke, I spoke about like Leonard Johnson and Hilltop and all of that. The guys that I grew up with, the older men, like they were serious guys. They weren't on no joke thing. They were serious people. And like I say, you're modelling how they used to flex and how they used to be with one another. And as we got older, we realised, wow, there was certain man in that firm. They was the first set of man that was taking vans, like doing the whole vans. You see what I'm saying? And they was running like different things. So growing up, there was some codes that we had, and it was just how we lived in those communities. If you came from communities where there was lots of poverty, there was lots of deprivation, and you know, you looked up stuff, there was a code that we had that we kind of lived by, and I think that shaped a lot of us. And as we've become older, and we've started to branch into different aspects of life, it's those same that same fibre that gives you that determination. Because where we are today as individuals, if we was to sit down, we could probably do an hour each, or even more. Similar to Mark, around just the craziness. You know, people ask me, how did you become a psychotherapist? How did you go from that to number 10 Downing Street to doing this work? I said, it's a lot of graft. And
It's
it's
an
a lot
easy
of...
answer, though. in one sense, no disrespect to the craft that you took on, but everything that we do in life shapes us.
100%.
So every experience that we go through, you either come out of it negatively or positively.
100.
So when you ask us about certain situations that's happened in our life and how it shaped us and learning to forgive or not forgive, these are all things that shape you and build your character. So when we get to the age that we are now, we can all sit on top of the mountain and talk like wise men.
Yeah.
But back then,
It wasn't.
It wasn't like that.
a man back
wasn't
then
like
that could think like that and talk like that was very unique. That was the person
I don't
to
think
be around.
it existed in our age group.
Well,
I
there you
think,
go.
I think we saw it as we got older.
Yeah.
As we got
I didn't see in no man what we're talking about. I know you mentioned Leonard Johnson and all these people. I'm talking about true forgiveness. Yeah? I don't think I've ever seen a man model true forgiveness.
So Kyan's story last week, you don't think he's found forgiveness for the people?
he
No,
has.
he's in the process.
He-
I believe
I
that
think he
everyone's
has.
in the process.
I
I'm
think
trying
he
to say
has,
to
but
you,
I think it's
he's
not
like-
something
but-
you-
but-
remember what I said
like
to you,
Spence,
forgiveness is not a one-off thing.
Hold on, what I'm saying to you, it's a process. Like how Spence is going to uni, education is ongoing. Does it make sense? You go through different levels of understanding. When as I said, there was a time when I was in church, yeah? And big up Bishop Malcolm, wherever you are. He preached a message one time, talk about friends of destiny, yeah? And friends of destiny, and I'm just going to recap because I won't be able to do that message any justice, but this is what I got from it, yeah? He talked about Jesus having two friends, yeah? Peter and Judas, right? There were two friends. One was a friend to his purpose and one was a friend to him personally, yeah? He said, you from the outside looking in, you'd think that Peter, who said, I would never leave you or forsake you, was his friend personally. And Judas, who betrayed him and sold him out for 21 pieces of silver, was his enemy, yeah? But as he's preaching, he's explained that Jesus was about to, he was in the Garden of Gethsemane and he was about ready to be sold out, yeah? And he was going to be put on the cross, yeah? And Peter said, he said to Peter, listen, this is what's going to happen to me. I'm going to be sold out and I'm going to have to die. And he said, Peter said, that's never going to happen, yeah? That's never going to happen. Peter's the man that used to come to the prayer meeting with his knife. You understand? And cut off man's ears and all them. He would do anything. Jesus is bodyguard. He loved Jesus. But when the cock crowed, he betrayed he denied Jesus 3 times, yeah? But not only did he deny Jesus 3 times, yeah? He said to Jesus, that will never happen to you. And Jesus looked at him and said, get thee behind me, Satan. He called his friend Satan, yeah? He said, you're evil for telling me this is not going to happen. Yeah? Because this has to happen for me to fulfill my purpose. These bad things happen to happen. I have to be sold out. I have to be crucified for me to be resurrected and for me to be the savior of the world. He's explaining this is his purpose. You understand? This is why he came. Yeah? Judas now, when Judas came to Jesus, he came and kissed Jesus. And Jesus said to him, friend, whatever you're going to do, go and do it quickly. Now, how can you call your enemy friend and your friend the enemy?
Or Satan.
Or Satan. Because one is a friend to your purpose and one is an enemy to your purpose.
He understood his enemy's purpose, though.
Judas was helping him to fulfill his purpose by selling him out. So he said, friend, you're a friend to my purpose. Go and do what you have to do. Do it quick.
Yeah.
Yeah? Don't delay. Go and sell me out quickly. Because by the time, before you sell me out, that's going to propel me into what I'm supposed to do. You understand? Because I need you to sell me out for me to get to what I need to do. You understand?
Yeah,
but but Peter, what Peter was doing, because he loved him, he's saying, no, I don't want to see you get hurt. I don't want to. But he's saying, listen, you're an enemy to my purpose. So get thee behind me, Satan.
Yeah,
So there's
trying to
some
stop my
people,
thing.
yeah, that we're not forgiving, but we don't know they are designed for us to build the character in order for us to fill our purpose. Does that make sense? The focus, bro. Let me tell you something. There's certain things that we go through. We wouldn't go through if we weren't. For me to be this calm. Do you know how much things I had to go through?
Yeah, you don't gain peace. Look, we are now warriors in the garden. We're not gardeners in a war. So
Say that again.
We are warriors now in the garden. We're not gardeners that's afraid to go to war. So we are now at a stage in our life where we've gone through a lot of battles, and we're calm because we understand what those battles have given us. All of our journeys, the betrayals, the losses, the knockbacks, the setbacks, it's all part of the journey that you have to travel to become the best version of yourself daily. So when you talk about forgiveness, forgiveness is a daily exercise. Don't get me wrong, you know. There's people that have done me things where every day I got to forgive them. Because if I don't, then it's just going to well up inside me. And then what's that going to do? It's going to stop me from achieving what I need to achieve. Because instead of me focusing that energy on myself and my direction, I then focus it on the negative.
Do you remember what we prayed?
That's
That's why I've just...
How quickly do you forgive? Because there's things that people have done me, and eventually, maybe I'll forgive them. But straight away at that hurting point,
Time.
Let me answer that.
I
Let me-
can't turn
let-
around
let me
and say,
answer
"I
that.
forgive
Let me
you," just
answer
like
that.
that.
No, I would disagree. Right? When you get the revelation of what you've been forgiven of, you will forgive. You know the prayer that we said the beginning of the show. Lord, forgive me of my trespasses as I forgive those who trespass against. No, what does it say?
Yeah,
Who trespass against me?
us.
Yeah.
Or against us.
Help me to forgive those who trespass against me. Yeah, because when I realize how much things I've done, and I need forgiveness, you understand? Yeah. Then you realize that it's no point holding something against somebody, because with the same measure that you judge, you shall be judged. You see what I'm trying to say to you? That's what.
Do you know
and
that's
even
the-
if you
that's
don't
the- do
believe,
you know that's
even if
the
you don't
most
believe in the
important
Bible,
thing? That's
it's
the
karma.
most important line today, I believe, my opinion. You see that? If everybody worked off of that, the world would be a better place. Because clearly I've done stuff, yeah? And I've done stuff to strangers more, I guess, than people who know me, yeah? But even those strangers might be sitting somewhere today thinking, you know how you can remember your book all them years ago? So there might be strangers who I don't know right now sitting in the front room watching a television program, and it triggers something that happened to them, and they will cuss about that, and that person was me, yeah? Let's say, yeah? So when you start, that line you just said is huge, because when you start looking at it that way, and you start thinking, you know what? All right, that 25 bags that guy took out my car. Obviously, you're ruined about it for a few days. But if you can come to that point in 24 hours where you might grab 30 bags off someone 2 years ago, right? We're not waiting on somebody in their yard and grab 6-7 kilos of something, yeah? When you transfer that, when you translate 2-3 moves, you can add up 90 bags. Then you're looking at the 25 bags and thinking, shh, you know? I think that's a crucial way to look at it. And that's coming from somebody who really, when I said earlier, that is the weakest part of my game. I'm not saying it because I'm proud of it. I'm saying it because I want
wanna
that
work
weaker
on
part
it.
to get better
Yeah, you
than
wanna
to
work
match
on
the
that
rest.
thing, that's right.
I wanted to catch up to the rest of the work that I'm doing as a person, innit? So I want to get to a point where I'm able to forgive like normal people can forgive.
Well, here's an example.
And that's
The
a
two-
wicked line
Yeah, but the two of them,
to
Spence,
incorporate into that process.
the two of them have given you examples. Milo asked Scotty a question earlier on, and he said, well, how do I get to that process? Scotty was talking about, do you know what, maybe they've gone through trauma. You said, you know what, cut them off. And you were saying that, but how do I get there? And then when you're recounting the story, you've got there.
That's a brilliant line, that
Yeah,
is.
you've got your own way. of countering
And anyone who's
somebody and
watching
giving
this show,
forgiveness.
for those who are watching this show,
individual
who can identify with what we're talking about, I think that's why I'm harping on that line to help anybody else who's there, because that's a really good way to see it. That's a really good way to
because
see
if
it.
you
All of
put
us
in
have
work,
done
Because that's what you
if
said,
you
it's-
put
it's-
in
yeah,
work,
loss.
and you know you've caused harm to people,
to people as well.
yeah. When harm is then done to you, you learn, actually, I need to forgive myself for the harm that I caused people.
Talk about that. Forgiving
And then-
yourself, because that's a big thing for me.
When yeah, like, you know, like, this is around mental well-being, the whole aspect of it around health, wealth, legacy. And like, to get to them spaces, you got to do that deeper work. You're not going to have a legacy if you don't do deeper work, because you'll just float through life.
So what would be your advice to me or somebody like me that says, I'm working on myself daily. It's not a tedious process. And part of that work about myself, I'm able to see where my game's weak.
So
and
what
I'm
you're,
able
what
to
you're
see where my
saying to me
game's
is,
strong.
what you're saying to
What
me,
would be your
because
advice?
what non-forgiveness is anger and pain. So you're holding the anger. So you need to go and think about, how do I let go of this anger towards that
But what if you
person?
locked it off in a box and you just
Well, that's why
then you're
people
not
pay
angry
me.
then.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, so
no,
you're
he
not
is.
angry.
He is.
You've
Yeah,
cut
that's
it
what
off.
I'm
He
saying.
hasn't cut it off.
You're
He
not-
hasn't, because hear what's happening. In your conscious mind, you've cut it off, but unconsciously,
Subconsciously
it's
now,
in
it's
your
still there.
system. So what you've done is this.
You
It's
vaulted
like
it.
when we've gone through trauma. So like, you know, like growing up, some of us, we got beaten. Some of them were some vicious beatings.
Yeah,
And
100%.
subconsciously, we bury it. It's too hard. You know, like when you used to get them beaten and you go and look at the wells, like, you can't believe you got these war wounds on you. Like, you're looking at your skin wail up and all that. So subconsciously, you bury it. Or some of the trauma that we went through, like when we was on the road and like people were running us down because of the colour of our skin and we had to defend that, or because of some of the things that went on. So we bury it subconsciously. Throughout parts of your life, it's going to raise its head. So what you're saying is about this forgiveness and this anger. You've tried to put it in a box and bury the box in your mind. But once in every so often, the box opens and one of those feelings come out, and then that's when the anger's projecting. You need to take the box out, put it on the table, and explore those feelings. Why do I feel like that? What was it that this person did to me? What did that evoke in me? And sit with that feeling. So now you're not closing the box and putting it in your unconscious. The box is now open and all those feelings have now gone. Because remember what I said?
But
Behaviour.
How easy is that?
How easy is that? That's part of self-growth.
I'm being a devil's advocate. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm being what somebody out there might be asking themselves watching this. Yeah?
What would I say to them?
Yes.
Come and pay me £50 an hour and do some work, yeah? That's what I would say to them, because that's what you need to do. You need to do some work, and you need to do, because, no, seriously.
You know what? You're right, bro. You know what?
People go out on the weekend, and I went out a couple of weeks ago, yeah? Where did I go? I went
saw the pictures. That's
I
what
went,
I'm
I went
saying.
out a couple of weeks ago, and this bar in Cap, it's a nice bar, and I brought a couple of drinks. Now I'm not a drinker. I normally drink water and mind my business. Yeah, everyone that sees me out knows I drink water. But like, I was seeing guys buying champagne and brandy, and like they're putting over £180. And in the back of my head, I'm saying, could we use some of our resources, like we used to enjoy ourselves, to do some deeper work? Like, pay someone like me £50 once a month, where, you know, for 1 hour of the month, I'm opening boxes in my thinking that's going to enable me to be better. Instead of thinking, because when we talk about forgiveness, some people don't seek forgiveness, so they bury it. And that's when we see the dysfunctionality that we're going to talk about next week. Multiple partners, drinking, gambling, raving, yelling it, all of the things that we try and do. You know what I find amazing? You know, like, we've got social media now, and we can see things. And I'm going to ask you guys this question, and it's not a judgment on anybody. Now, if I see somebody out, and they're everywhere, I'd be asking myself, what's the purpose? If I see a man and he's out at the bookie every day, or at the gambling house, or at the snooker club, what are you running from?
But sorry, their purpose is what they're there for. You ask somebody that you see out every week, what is your purpose? I like to rave. You see someone in a gambling, in a bookie shop everywhere, I like to bet on horses or whatever. So whatever they're doing is their purpose.
Is their
there and
purpose.
then.
But
sometimes they are using it as a shield from what's really going on.
As a
an
getaway.
undercurrent, yeah.
I'll answer that because I go out a lot, yeah? But I can honestly say I am so used to raving. I'm a promoter. I used to put on raves. Back in the 90s, I had 2 raves a week, every single week, my own raves. So I've been used to the nightlife thing, and it's my thing. Wherever I go, wherever I travel to, I try and go out at least once to see what the nightlife is like there. So that's a hobby then, if you want to put it like that. But to be fair, when I go out, it's release. It's I work hard and I'm going to play hard type of mentality. It's release. So I've got a brethren that his release is jumping in his brand spanking new BMW and driving the M25.
Release from what?
Release from all the hard work, all the
Tension.
brain work. No, not tension as such.
Well, it isn't.
It's like
It's
if
work,
you
it's
work. To me, I think if you work hard, certain nurses do 12-hour shifts a day, and sometimes it's 4 days a week, 5 days a week.
Are you a nurse now?
No, I'm not. But I'm just saying, if you work hard, so I gave them as an example of working long hours and shit like that. If you work hard, I think you have to have a release. You have to have, you know, like an engine that's running all day. You got to turn it off at some point, innit? Yeah, and then you got to service it.
Or restart
You,
it.
right, you got to
restart
service
it.
it. You got to let it rest and reservice it so it recharges itself. Your phone, every so often, you got to recharge that battery. So the way I see me going out, and I'm talking for myself, I'm not talking for anybody else, is my brain works a lot. Literally. My brain works when I'm sleeping, bro.
So, you know,
No,
oh, it's
seriously. Yeah, because like we was talking a couple of weeks ago. 10 years ago, I was a millionaire. 10 years ago, I was living in an 8-bedroom house. And then the banking flipping crisis started in 2007. Literally 6 months after we bought nearly £1 million house. 6 months later, it started. But we got complacent because 2 years later, in 2009, we had our best month in our business. So you kind of got like, oh, it's not touching me kind of thing. And that month, March of 2009, our business made 964 grand in that month. The Christmas leading up to that March, I had a big Christmas party, and our theme was, this year we're going to hit $1 million a month for the first time. That was in December 2008. January 2009, we hit 600K. February 2009, we hit 800K. March 2009, we hit 964. You see, April went back to 8. May, 7. And then we started to flatline. Slowly coming down, yeah? By the time we got pregnant with my 13-year-old. In all of that crisis, I'm watching France broke, Britain's broke. Spain was on his face where we was living at the time. Greece, if France, Greece, and Italy weren't countries, they would have disappeared off the face of the earth under that crisis. So now I'm starting to get worried because I can see things going south, yeah? That moment, there was a 2-year and a half period where literally I used to look at my ex-wife and think, how the can you sleep? You're watching the numbers in our account go down like that because we're throwing good money after the business to try to keep the business up. We weren't spending the money on ourselves. Our business had to make 32 grand a month before we could take a penny. Our expenses was 32 grand every single month before we could take a penny. You see, from that period, from about 2000 and coming up to the end of 2000, my son was born in September. So when we got pregnant for him, we just come from skiing. We got pregnant when we was out skiing in the slopes. Come back in January, we're pregnant. Now I'm thinking to myself, oh, do you know what I mean? From that moment on till this day, I can honestly tell you, mans, my brain works when I'm sleeping. One day I said to my ex-wife, I said, how can you sleep with what's going on around us? Countries are failing, Woolworths gone, All these big companies, remember, are gone, never to come back. You know what she said to me? I can sleep because I'm married to you. You see, when she said that, I wasn't mad no more with her. I brought it right back to myself. All right, this is your job. She's going to sleep through the nights. You're going to stay up through the
You're on the
nights.
safety mechanism.
And I turned shit around. I did. In 2012, we turned things around, and that's why we lasted another 2 years in Spain. We didn't get back up to the heights, but money started to come back in slowly with those sleepless nights. So my brain got to understand, yeah, when you're in a crisis, and even when you're not in a crisis, your brain solves the problem. And I've found it hard since then to switch off. So when I say I work hard, it ain't just all the other bits that I'm involved in, like this. I got to think about this today, as well as think about the calls. I got a personal statement to write for uni and all that. I'm working on 2 assignments. So my brain works hard the way I see it, and it has worked hard for a long time, from 2010 onwards. We're now in 2023. So for me, when I rave, and I don't do nothing else, you know. I don't go pool club, snooker club. I used to go gym, knock down the head from I had my knee operation. So there's nothing else really, me personally, that I do. I don't go bars and drink. I never walk into a place, yeah, I'm just going to come here for a drink. Never.
This is what I'm saying.
So,
I think
so my outlet is the raving. So for me, my story is different. Is I work hard and I play hard. So it's not everybody that goes there because they're escaping stuff. It's more like I need to do something that recharges me. Then.
But that's why that word I was using earlier on about stress. But when you hear stress, then you didn't take it as a negative connotation. But all that stuff that you're doing, all that brain work that you're doing is stress on your brain. So on a Saturday night, you're going out to
I'm going out
release
to
all
just
of
be
that
happy,
stress. That's right.
enjoy myself. I'm around people I know. The music's good. I know I'm going to enjoy. If I'm here for 5 hours, I'm going to have fun the whole 5 hours. So again, I choose where I go. Because when I make that effort and I go somewhere, which I've been, the worst thing you can do is go on a boat dance. And I regret it. You know when you go on a boat rave and the DJs are playing nonsense and you can't leave because the boat's out.
you can't get off the boat.
Yeah, come to one of mine, mate.
You can't get off the boat.
But this is what I'm saying.
Things like that, when I make the wrong decision of where I'm at, is more painful than not going out. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm out because I want to have fun, I want to enjoy myself, and I want to release.
Yeah,
and then
everyone's
Sunday,
got
I
their
crash.
thing. Everyone's got their balance that they do.
When I listen to you, and a lot of men will be able to resonate with you, and women who've gone and focused on, making money and being wealthy and setting up their family foundation. A couple of weeks ago I said, my dad had a saying, we'll fly until we fly past our nest. Sometimes there's a saying in the Bible, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul, yeah? In all that getting in life, we have to get understanding, yeah? And we're talking about secrets to success. What is the meaning of life? Is life for us to live in a mansion, have millions of pounds, have lots of women, or die? Some men believe, they die and they go into a harem of women. That's not my heaven.
Everybody's man. Everybody's going to have a different
like
perspective.
yourself, made money and, like to party, put on parties and all them kind of things. But I realize having peace is in a place. And what disturbs our peace is unforgiveness, things like unforgiveness, yeah? Anger, revenge, bitterness, envy, jealousy, yeah? These are the things that are enemies to our peace, yeah? And yes, we might want to release, through sex or through drugs, through dancing, music, but sometimes it can be a habit that turns into a bad habit. And it's like somebody that smokes cigarette for the first time, they start coughing and throwing, but after a couple of cigarettes, it's like You know what I mean?
It's
I've
not.
got to have a cigarette after the lunch and breakfast and whatever. They get used to it. So they get immune to what the bad effects were of
what
that
would have
thing.
put them off? To what could have put them off?
Now, there's good and bad in raving. Yeah? There's good things like, you know, you might meet different people, you got a chance to dress up, you got a chance to meet, you know, splash some cash and, you know what I mean, and listen to some music but what's the bad side of it? What's the bad side of it? The bad side of it is sometimes you can miss your mark. It can distract you from who you really are. You get what I'm trying to say? Because you're not in a place of solitude, of sanctuary, a place where you can start to really look at yourself and, as Scotty says, do the deeper work within yourself to make. Because once you start looking at yourself, you start to think, well, why am I smoking? Why have I got this unforgiveness? Why have I got this anger? Why have I got this deep feeling like I want to, you know? Bro, I wanted to say this earlier, right? You know when you've forgiven somebody, yeah? When you've got the means to crush them and you don't.
Yeah.
Is that when you know? Is that when you know you've truly forgiven somebody?
That's when you know. That's when I know. Like when I got you in the palm of my hand and you don't even know I got you in the palm of my hand. You see what I'm trying to say to you?
And you give him a pass.
Bro, I remember one time, yeah, a man told my brother he's going to kill my brother, yeah? He was in a foreign country, he's telling my brother had people outside his house while he was on the phone telling my brother. And my brother said, you know what, I'm going to spare you. You're telling me I'm going to kill you, you're going to kill me when I got people outside your yard and you don't even know they're outside your yard. See what I'm trying to say to you? Yeah, you're causing me harm and you don't know the power that I've got to crush you like an ant. Yeah? I think that is one of the powers of a true character that's forgiven. Yeah, I'm trying to say to you because you've got the ability to retaliate, to act revenge, but you don't. You don't enter into the circus like a clown. Yeah, I'm trying to say.
Is that actually forgiveness or is that control?
Well,
that's a good question.
I would say forgiveness is an action. I don't think it's an emotion. I don't think you feel good about forgiving. Yeah? I think it's a decision that you make not to act on the things that you could have acted
impulse,
on.
on
You know what I'm trying to
on
say
the
to you?
revenge
Yeah?
impulse.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I don't feel good about... If somebody says, what does forgiveness feel like? What does it feel like?
I was going to ask. I was just going to ask you.
What does forgiveness feel like?
You know what I just asked him? How is that when you know that you've forgiven somebody? When you can harm them, when you don't? What would you say?
No, forgiveness
is
for
the
me-
sign that you've forgiven somebody.
Forgiveness is, for me, is about understanding. So I'm at a space now where, as you guys said, in my 20s I wasn't here, in my 30s I wasn't here, but
He
in my
wasn't what?
50s
Speak up.
I wasn't here.
He wasn't
in my
where?
20s I wasn't
Place
here.
where he is now.
I wasn't
Mentally.
like this. Yeah, I wasn't where I am now. Come on, that's part of the growth, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you, what's part of the process of growth for me? I think people need to spend time by themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? So for me, when I think about escapism, all forms of escapism, drinking, gambling, womanizing, raving, that's the escapisms that we have. You're escaping from yourself because you're not sitting at peace, because peace is a space within. You can't find peace out there. You've got to find peace in here. So when I sit down in my house, I'm at peace because hear what now? I know I've forgiven myself for my wrongdoings that I've done to people. What was my role in this thing that happened?
That's deep.
I have to forgive myself for my role. And then when I learn forgiveness, I'm able to forgive others. Because as Mark confessed last week, like, I'm not biblical. But let those without sin cast the first stone. And none of us can't cast no first stone because we're all
Most of
guilty.
us.
So
Yeah.
when you learn, I cannot cast...
Some people, if they cast us a pebble It's a boulder.
You see what I'm saying? So
And it's a boomerang coming right back at them.
Your question that you're
Class of
asking
pebble is
about
a boulder
forgiveness,
coming down.
for me, forgiveness is about acceptance. It's about humbleness. It's about understanding, and it's a daily thing. When someone has harmed you, emotionally, financially, you wake up in the morning and you might wake up with a negative thought. Mark said it not last week. You are in control of your thoughts.
Yep.
So what is anger? Anger is a thought. They did this to me. They knocked me. She left me. They did this. They took the kids, or all of that. It's a thought. Can I change the thought? Actually, they needed the kids. They needed that money.
Can I tell you a story?
You can tell me a story. You can tell everybody a story.
You know me, that storyteller. So I like stories still. Yeah? My kids love stories. They love my stories. But did I ever tell you the first time I got baptized?
No.
I never
How
tell
many times have you been baptized then?
One time. Yeah, joker. But anyway.
I thought you got baptized more than once.
It was time.
And that's
I've been
another
baptized
secret to
once as
success.
well.
Get baptized. I'll tell you why. After coming out of prison for 5 years, I'll tell you how I got into that prison. Maybe next week.
We can all talk about it, Bird. We can talk about it.
But I'll tell you what happened. When I came, my sister kept inviting me to church. Now, when I was in prison, every man's turning Muslim. Yeah? I wasn't really into the Muslim because the man wasn't really stand-up Muslims.
It was for the halal food.
But bro,
A lot of
I
it
was
was for the
on
halal
the
food,
survey
right?
and the man them namming bacon, so it never make no sense to me.
Don't say
Are
that.
you
Enough, man, don't
being a
say
Muslim
the bacon.
and you asking for the real crispy bacon? It don't make no sense. You are crispy bacon, brother. Yeah. So that never made no sense to me. Yeah. So that what happened was, she kept inviting me to church. I said, brother, I've been in a church thing, not a church thing. And what happened was, I'm not gonna lie, I went to your club, Shinola, EQ, right?
Yeah, EQ.
It's about 3,000 capacity, and I stood in the corner all night. Because of the years of me being incarcerated, I couldn't take big crowds. Yeah? So I left. I didn't drink nothing. Like you, Scott, I was drinking water. But because I've been raving for so long, I went there by myself and I stood up in the corner and watching all these people.
But you don't but enough, man, because everyone came out.
No, listen, I know enough, man, but it's not my lifestyle no more, innit?
Yeah, I hear you.
So I've gone home. Something said to me, get up and go to the church that your sister's been inviting you to. Because this particular invitation got more and more because she said there's a preacher coming from America and it's a special service, and you know what I mean? If you come and you know,
Join.
cleanse up your spirit, you know what I mean? Wash off your soul, wash off your heart, because your heart dirty. My sister was funny, you know what I'm saying? She said you have a dirty heart. So anyway, I've dressed up and I've gone down to the church, bruv. Listen to this. Remember we were talking about forgiveness, yeah? Secret to success. They put me to sit next to one young boy. I'll never forget. Mark Shaw, yeah? His name was Mark Shaw. This was in 1994, May the 1st. I remember it, like vividly I remember it, yeah? And this little boy was talking in tongues. I didn't know what he was talking. He was just, but he was talking in tongues, yeah? And every minute, I didn't want to make him know that I'm looking at him, but I kept looking at him, you know what I'm saying? Looking at him. And he's rocking and he's talking in these tongues, yeah? And the preacher come up and preached, yeah? And I remember the preacher talking about tribute to a fool. He was talking about Solomon, yeah? And he was saying that Solomon was one of the wisest men, wisest kings that ever lived. But he died like a fool. And some of you think you're wise, but you're going to die like a fool. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know nothing. I don't know much about the Bible at that time. But I know that Solomon, the great King Solomon, you know what I'm saying? Rastaman, you know, not talk about Solomon. I was a Rastaman in my heart, really. You know what I'm saying? And so, when he's saying that Solomon died like a fool, I couldn't understand it. So he explained it. He said, Solomon started off his reign by consulting God about everything. He asked God not for treasure, not for silver and for gold, but for wisdom. And through the wisdom, godly wisdom God gave him, he was able to discern. He had the spirit of discernment. He was able to see right from wrong. And he became a judge. And he was able to judge his kingdom fairly and righteously. And that's what gave him the riches and the love of his subjects. But later on, yeah, like his father, he started taking on all of these wives and concubines. Yeah? And then he started to go into sorcery and witchcraft and consulted with wizardry, yeah, and necromancy. And he said that some of you are like Solomon. You're going to live like a wise man, but you're going to die like a fool. But every time he kept saying fool, it was like a piercing in my heart. Like
he was talking to you.
Like I was getting angry. Like, who y'all call fool? Who y'all call fool? You know what I'm saying? I was getting angry. I'm sitting in the seat and it's like the man I call me fool. Like, brother, who y'all call in my mind? This is what the conversation I'm letting you know happening in my head. It's like, who you calling a fool? Yeah? I'm getting angry in this church, bruv. I don't know why I'm getting angry. I don't know nobody in this church. I'm getting angry because this man is calling me a fool. I just felt like he's calling me a fool, yeah? Anyway, one of the brothers them called me up to pray after the service. And he said, listen, come to the altar and pray. So I said, no, man, I'm not go up on no altar and go pray. You understand? Because I'm mad, yeah? My sister's boyfriend at the time, Trevor, big up yourself, Trevor, where you are. He come and he said, he know me from the roads, innit? He said, Milo, you know, for you to be here, it must be for a reason. Yeah? Just come with me to the altar. Yeah? I go with him to the altar and a man start praying for me, bro. I close my eyes. It's like a flash of my life. I could see all of the bad things that I did in my life up until that point. Every bad thing it just came to my thought. Like, right, you did this, you did that, you did this. It was like a movie. I could see everything that I did wrong up until that point. And I just started saying sorry. Sorry. And the more I kept saying sorry, it's like the tears was coming down my eyes, on my cheeks. And I was trying to stop the tears. Cause I'm saying, yo, we're not crying. We are crying for. This is the conversation I'm letting you know what's happening in my head.
In your mind, yeah.
But the more I said sorry, is the more
Were you saying
tears.
sorry out loud or?
No, this is all this in my head.
Right.
Yeah? Because my eyes are closed, innit? Remember, I don't know what's going on. Yeah? I'm saying sorry. I couldn't control the tears. The tears start coming down my eyes, yeah? And I'm crying and I'm saying sorry. And the preacher said, if you deny God before men, God is going to deny you on that day of judgment. But if you accept God before man, God will accept you on that day of judgment. Are you ready to give your life to God? If you're ready to give your life to God, come up and shake my hand. Brother, I walked with my head down with tears flooding down my eyes, stained up the whole of my shirt, my good green shirt. I remember at the time I was looking nice, you get me? And look, it's funny, I'm telling this story and I'm wearing green. You understand? Yeah? There's something in green. Bro, as I open my eyes, I see my sister crying as well. Karen. Yeah, we were the only two that went up on that stage and shook the man and we got baptized that day.
Seriously?
But you see the crying thing.
Hold on, no, man.
Yeah.
Hold on, no, man. You're just a jumping.
No, because I want to understand something. Because was it almost like, I'm sorry for the pain that I've caused?
No.
Because you saw these things flashing.
I was sorry. I was sorry for doing wrong.
So you were sorry for the pain that, because the wrongs that you did caused pain for people, isn't it?
I don't know if it was to people. I just know I was doing wrong. I don't know. It could have been smoking. I don't know what's wrong I was doing. I just saw wrong.
The
I was doing
badness.
wrong. I don't know if it was to people. I just know it was wrong. And so I'm trying to say to you, it could have been me having sex. It could have been just whatever it was. You get what I'm trying to say to you? I was just sorry.
So you was almost forgiving yourself. You was saying, I'm sorry for what I've done.
Yes.
So I'm trying to forgive myself. Can you see what I'm talking about self-compassion? And you just had to bar because it's overwhelming. Like, It's almost like a release of all of the
Bro,
the
You never
negative
let
in
me
you.
finish the story.
Because it's so curious. Like my therapist said, it's
Brother,
just ticking like
when I
his
got
brain's
baptized,
ticking away,
yeah,
innit?
they gave me a can of drink to drink. I looked at the ingredients. I said, "No, I can't drink this.
What was in it?
I don't know." I just looked at it. I said, "I don't." I felt so clean with inside. I didn't want to contaminate inside with nothing. You understand? I instantly stopped smoke.
I have to go bathroom, man. Them. I tried to hold it. I tried to hold it.
It's all right. We're off age now. We can put the prostate thing up there as well. We're all 50. We can put the prostate. Yeah, we can put the prostate thing up there as well.
Yeah.
Just a heads up. I was meant to go for my PSA screening today at 12. There is a van that's in the London Borough of Brent. I think it's going over to 2 in next. It's called A Man in a Van. And if you're over 50, you can go there and you can get your prostate done. They'll do the PSA, that's the blood.
6 months.
But better than that, you can pray and ask God for heal you.
Yeah, I mean, you see, like, it's really weird because we're talking about forgiveness and pain and purpose. Last week, not the week before, I used to work with this guy at the Youth Offending Service. His name's Sam M, I'd call him. And he's taking his boy football, and he said he's phoned my phone by mistake. But he said it wasn't. He's doing a Bible study group on Friday, and we started to talk about religion. Why did we reject religion so much, like our generation? Was it to do with the trauma that we thought that our parents were Jehovah Witness, Catholic, this one, that one, used to dress us up in a little suit with a little thing, and we have to go there, and then man, there's talking one. And it's religion. Religion was the thing that I thought most of us didn't really buy into. But spirituality we had. Like that book, the Bible, it's a manual of life. It's you know, like when you buy a TV, you get the manual. But we know how to work the TV, innit? But when you read the manual, you realise, Ross, if I do this, it got timer, and it can time, and that book, it's like a manual. And then I thought about religion. Why have we become so far removed from it? Why have we become so far from asking the big man for guidance and support? Like, why are we denying that relationship with him? So I think every man's got to go, and no, not every man, every person's got to go on their own journey.
We're dealing with man. We're dealing with man right now.
Yeah,
Listen to
every
what I'm
man's
saying
got to
you,
go on their journey.
It's what you just said.
Yeah.
It's not about religion. Religion is man's way getting to God. Yeah? Relationship. It's about relationship. That's God's way of getting to us.
It's the
And
relationship
so
that
when
you
God
have.
comes and meets with you, every man has that meeting, whether they say it or not, or accept it or not. You've had that meeting. You've had that meeting. Yeah?
But this is what I was going to say to you.
When God meets you, you have a relationship through prayer, through your obedience, through your purpose, yeah, and through your gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also reflecting his character, because I believe, yeah, bro, in all of our searching for wealth, health, prosperity, it's because he wants us to be like him. He's prosperous. He's healthy. That's why the Bible says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of the sinner, or sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, which he doth meditate upon day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, who brings forth fruit in his due season. His leaf shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. When a man prosper, God wishes above all things that we prosper and be in good health, even as our soul is prospering. You understand? So if that's his mission, his mandate, his instruction for us, that we must prosper, be in good health, even as our soul prosper, anything else is a distraction. Unforgiveness is not helping us prosper. Yeah? Envy is not making us prosper. Lies, backbiting, gossiping, that's not helping us prosper. Yeah? When you see, or whether you've done it or somebody's done that to you, yeah, if you can lay your gift and make it right with yourself first, and make it right if the opportunity arises with others, then that's the process to the healing. That's the first step to the healing. You understand? And so it's, as you say, self-recognition. Look, the biggest opposition is yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You know, like in Jamaica, we used to have the old time sayings. Finger never say look here, finger always say look there. So we don't do this. So when you talk about forgiveness, don't point the finger at the harm. Point the finger to yourself. What was my contributing factor? What did I do? Can I learn self-compassion for myself? So going back to Sam Nelson, phone ring is in my pocket. He's doing Bible study on Friday. And I've gone to this Bible study now. And it's called Iron Sharpen Iron. So there's 6 other men in there. And we're looking at a verse from the Bible. First time I've gone there, yeah? And I thought to myself, is this coincidental? And I thought, no, it's not actually. This is something that is meant to happen at this time. Because sometimes when you're seeking answers, you have to have isolation. You have to have solitude. You have to have time alone. Not where you're going deep within your thoughts and you can't process it. Sometimes you need to kind of figure out, what is it that's going on for me? Do I need to get help from somebody? Do I need professional help? Or do I just need to dig a little bit deeper to understand my own self? And when you do that, you said it earlier, peace. When you see people that's got peace, trust me, you know they got peace because they carry themselves different. They walk different. The way how you see them, there's a humbleness, there's a meekness. Because here what? We know we can mash ants, innit? So we're not going to mash ants. What are we going to mash ants for? Because I'm at peace. I don't need to mash ants. You just leave them. Because they need to do what they need to do. I've got peace. So I would say to anyone that's watching this, you see purpose. Sometimes in life, we search for the meaning of why am I here? I'm not here to just breathe fresh air and kick the bucket. I have a purpose in being here. Sometimes to find your purpose, you need that solitude. Sometimes you have to go through lots of traumatic things to get to the deeper reason why we're here. This man here, Mark, growing up, even though he's not that much older than me, I remember his sound. I remember, boy, the man over side, they play music good. And then when I saw him years later and he's doing a radio show and he's doing it during the lockdown, and I'm looking and I'm saying, this geezer's got a purpose, bruv. He's impacting people's lives. He's doing, and he's not looking fame. He's not looking favoritism. This is something that the big man has given me a gift to do. He's given me a voice. He's given me a platform. He's given me knowledge that I need to share it. You see what I'm saying? And then when you find that purpose, it gives you meaning. And with that meaning, it don't matter about people. It don't matter about people who wrong you.
Exactly.
I've got a purpose here.
That's exactly it.
So my purpose here now is, what is my gift? The big man didn't give me this voice to whisper up in people, oh, you look good and all that nonsense. No, he didn't give me a voice for that. He gave me a voice so that the knowledge that he's given to me, I can share it. So that knowledge and that information, it's going to help somebody else. And this is my firm belief in terms of purpose and forgiveness. When you find your purpose, you don't have time to carry negative energy. You don't have to, and all forgiveness is about letting go of anger, because when somebody hurts you, you're angry. You can't forgive because that anger is churning. But once you learn to let the anger go and you find compassion for them, forgiveness is you just forgive people. Because I don't have the energy.
I think for me, what Milo said earlier.
Yeah.
Remember, you've done stuff to other people. Mm-hmm. Remember what you've done, the wrongs that you've done. Bear that in mind, forefront of your mind,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll help. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me when it comes to this topic of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because my option of locking it off, I can honestly say it's for two purposes. One, to protect them from what my brain might think up to doing revenge. and to protect me from that action as well. So it's easier to lock it off depending on what degree that's or who it is as well. So that to me was a very easy way not to deal with the issue, the forgiving aspect of it. Do I want to forgive? Am I going to forgive? Not to deal with all of them questions, just lock it off. However, I think what I can say, I feel like I'm the only one. I feel like I'm changing every week, every time I sit down with you, man. You understand? Right? But what I can honestly say, yeah, what Scotty said about guiding the box and taking it out and dealing with it, I think I might go through a process where I'm going to pick certain people and certain things that's in that box at the right time.
Yeah.
When he comes back to mind.
You know what I'm hearing you say?
But I'm going to be very selective. I'm going to be very selective about that because that control my mojo. I don't need that in my life right now. I think I'm doing great working on my processes of growth. That I might get to a point. Sorry to cut. That I might get to a point where I can open all of the box and it means nothing to me. But right now,
a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. You know, last week when I was talking about the Bible study thing, and something that resonated with me is Sam said, when you're a baby, bruv, you can't eat rice and peas and oxtail. You have to eat liquid food, innit? And sometimes you need guidance to know when you can come off the milk and start eat yogurt, when you can stop eat yogurt and start eat some solid, like your mashed potato. You need guidance. So when you're doing your readings with the Bible, you get guidance from someone that's a bit more experienced. When you're doing this self-help work to become a better person, you get guidance. Because what I'm saying is, do not open boxes unless you know I'm prepared to open those boxes and someone can guide me into take this out of the box. Because remember, our brain, our thoughts, our feelings, sometimes in our brain, we're thinking lots of different things. And I say to people to try and imagine you're in a room with lots of different chairs. And all of those chairs are things that happened. And all of those chairs are wobbly. Bruv, you can't try and sit on all of them and fix them. You got to take one chair out, put it over there, sir, look at it, examine it, fix that chair, and then put it back. Now I don't need to worry about that chair. Now I can go to a next chair.
Can I jump in?
Every chair
Can
a
I jump?
different
Because
chair.
we only got a little bit of time, yeah? And it's been an exciting session, yeah? And next week is the finale. And we've got so much to cover, but I'm glad with what you're saying about the therapy. What I'm hearing is that outside of this little conversation we're having, man needs to go and seek a real coach, a real mentor, a real specialist to help them through. Every man, you know what I'm saying? Tyson Fury, when he wanted to become better, he went to America and got a different coach. You see what I'm trying to say to you? Francis...
And he went through therapy. He went through serious therapy.
Look where the man they come from.
He went through drug therapy.
Yeah. But one of the things he advocates for is his faith in God, yeah? And so, look at Francis Ngannou, yeah? He's gone from MMA and he wanted to go into boxing. He's called Mike Tyson. He drew for Mike Tyson, yeah? Because every man should have somebody that
they listen to.
That they listen
that
to.
They listen
See,
to.
bro, I've been up this week. God gave me a revelation about peace, listening, and calm. Yeah, a lot of women will say, "Boy, there's no good men. I'm a good woman. Where are all the good men?" Yeah, I said, all the good men are looking for the women at the address of peace. If you're at the address of peace, he will find you. You don't have to find, you just have to position yourself at that address of peace. Because when you're at that address of peace, all the men are there waiting. But when they go to the address of peace, there is nobody in that address. Because most people are not at peace.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Hold on.
Isn't it that
And where do most... You see, most men are looking for women. Well, they're saying, I had a conversation with some women. They were saying, most men don't want a relationship. Most men, they just want to be out there and having different women. And most women, I said, listen, having sex is different from building and investing a legacy and a foundation, yeah? A man is not going to build a legacy and a foundation with a whole heap of women. He's going to find one. You know what I'm trying to say to you? Yeah? You can have sex with 1,000 women, but you're only going to build with one. Only one is going to know your PIN number. There's only one that's going to give your door key to. There's only one that's going to know, you know what I'm trying to say to you, where the real belly there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say to you? Yeah? And if you don't know where the real belly there, you're not the one. Does it make sense?
Of course, we've all
And
been
so
like
my
that.
thing is, if you are looking for a man, we know where to find the wives at that place of peace. But if you're a woman listening to this and you want to find a husband, find him in his purpose. Don't find him on a date. Don't find him. You're never gonna. You can go on 5 dates a week looking free food. That's not. You're not gonna find a husband there. Find him.
Sorry. There was some research
Listen
that was
to what
done
I'm
about
saying.
dating.
Listen to what I'm saying
and
to you.
now a lot
Listen
of
to what I'm
people
saying
go
to
on
you,
date for the free.
Yeah, you're doing the interview. Yeah, you're steering the ship, trying to find a long-lasting relationship. You have access to sex and a date. Man leads on a relationship that lasts. That's lasting. You see what I'm trying to say to you? And the only way a relationship's gonna last with a man, if he's forgiven himself, forgiving others, he's full of love, or he's on that journey of discovering love, first with his Heavenly Father and with those around himself and those around himself, and he's living a life of purpose, bro.
You see-
Let me tell you something, bro. It all ties up. We dealt with identity, we dealt with purpose, we're dealing with forgiveness. Next week we're going to deal with relationships and love. Because
The week I'm not here.
bro,
Oh yeah, Mark, you need
It's
to
not
send your
about-
apologies from now, don't
it's
you?
not about what you know. It's not about what
Can't
you
we-
know.
can't you
It's
come on
about,
the
hold
Zoom?
on, bro. It's not
Sorry.
about what you know. It's about who you know. Yeah? And who knows you. Yeah? Do you know your Heavenly Father, and does your Heavenly Father know you? Because once you are in agreement and partnership, there's no weapon formed against you can prosper. You understand? And everything that you do will prosper. You see what I'm trying to say to you? So my thing is, bro, in all this conversation we're having, man needs to find somebody they can reason with and talk to on
know
an
something?
ongoing, consistent basis.
So in
Because
the process of finding that person, when you're saying that we're the ones holding the interview, if we're going to add some balance to it, shouldn't it be a joint interview?
no,
The same?
no,
Why?
because
If we're
it's-
looking for that person.
yeah. You ever go for a job and you I
Yeah,
said,
they ask me a question, I ask them.
Hold on now, hold on. Hold on. I know where you're going, but this friend of the show.
Yeah. They have the bulk of the questions, and
You
they would
wanna play
ask if
devil's
there's any
advocate?
questions if you want to
You
ask.
still want your fans.
It depends.
Still want your
It
fans.
depends on how he's looking at it.
saying
He's looking
that-
at it
All
like
right,
we
then,
are,
all right,
we
listen.
are interviewing for a
Let me
job,
tell you something.
for a position. But I don't see
Go-
that
go
way.
on, Mark.
But go on, though.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm looking at it like, okay, then, so we as the man, and we found our purpose, and we want that queen to sail beside us. Yeah? So we're conducting, in whichever form, an interview. They're gonna want to know from us if they're gonna commit to us.
No, I
they're
wouldn't
gonna
say.
need
I wouldn't
100%.
say that we are conducting an interview. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
I was-
I'll be honest with you. Once that partner, that person is in their place, they've already passed. You know what I'm saying? They all they need to do now is partner.
Find
you know
a
what I'm trying to say
connection.
to you? Because they've already gone through the process of making themselves who they need to, because they found a place. You get what I'm trying to say to you? Yeah. On that place to peace, there is a process.
Oh, yeah.
That process, you could say, is the interviewing process. That's not done by men. That's
Right,
done by
okay.
their own
That's what-
life
Right, now you're making
experiences.
sense. Now I'm
Right.
with you.
So
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
we
So
are
when,
not in
so
that
when they're
pro-
at the just of
Now I'm
peace,
with you.
Yeah.
we don't
Then
need to
everything
ask them
comes
because
We
they're
don't have to
already
ask them
at
nothing.
that place
Right,
where
right.
Everything
We're-
fits.
now-
fits,
Yeah,
and it's
that
about
makes sense.
choosing the one that's going to actually meet
Yeah, I'm
your
trying to say to you,
purpose.
listen,
now
I'm
I'm-
You
trying
know,
to say
I've
to you,
had this
bro.
question. I've had this debate with other people about.
I'm glad I
a
clarified
man,
that.
Yeah,
a
because
man and his
I thought
purpose.
you said you was conducting interviews, and I didn't agree
That's
with
what
that.
I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm glad I
About
clarified that.
purpose and a man and his purpose. And when you're on purpose, you have a different aspiration. You have a different thing about you. You're not led by folly. You're not led by, because that's not my purpose here. And like, sometimes I think, and I look back at my granny and my granddad, some of the teachings that they used, you know what they used to say to me? It's not every drum that beat you must dance. And then I thought, what do they mean by that? All new broom sweep good, but old broom know every corner. So as I'm getting older, yeah, I'm becoming wise.
Start again.
New broom sweep good,
but
old broom know every corner. So as I'm getting older...
That's why they didn't understand what you said, because you move faster.
So as I'm getting older, all of these things mean something. But what stood out for me the most is most of this stuff, they got it from the Bible, that manual. Yeah, because there's scriptures that say the same thing about old wisdom. New wisdom's exciting, new money. You know, like, new things is nice, isn't it? But is it any good? I got pots in my house, they're 20 years old. I could buy new pots every week and they're like mash up within a year. But the pots that's old, they're good.
The ancestral pots.
Yeah, what I'm saying, what I'm hearing from you, Milo, is you have your belief system. You found some peace. You found some forgiveness for self. If I never know you personally, I would have said, but I know you personally, so I can see that there's some shifts. And as you become more at peace in yourself, you become more forgiving, you become more tolerant, you become more humble, you become
but
more...
you exude that.
Hold
When
on,
you're
hold
at
on,
peace
hold
with
on.
yourself, you exude that.
Mark,
you glow different.
let me jump on. Let me finish my point on what you said about both interviews. There is no interviews.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got that
Yeah,
clarification.
but the reason why I brought up interviews because dating, I see dating as a type of an
Yes,
interview.
yes,
you know what I'm trying to say
yes,
to you?
yes,
Where
yes.
it's the woman that's conducting the interview. You see what I'm trying to say to you? Because if you're a real man, you're going to ask the lady where she would like to go, what she'd like to eat, and then you will pick her up. You know, you do all the traditional stuff. You know what I'm trying to say? That you pay for it. And I'm trying to say to you, because you're in pursuit. You get what I'm trying to say to you? Right? So you're looking for a position in a date. You get what I'm trying to say to you? And so you won't find a man going on 10 dates in a week. It costs too much.
That's right.
You know what I'm trying to say to you? Right? It costs too much.
I not got Akasan in my life. Me hear man talk about
and sexy
Akasan.
fishes and all these things.
Me not know
I just
Akasan.
hear about these things.
No,
You know
me
what I'm
hear
trying
about
to
them
say?
too. Me
So,
not
but
know.
listen what I'm saying to you, right? When a woman finds a man, a husband, yeah, he's not in his full purpose yet, you know. He's still on that path and the process. But the wisdom that she has, she's able to help him to fulfill his purpose. You know what I'm trying to say to you?
If he's willing to accept.
Yeah.
What?
If
He's willing to accept.
No, if she finds that man in the place of purpose, he's already accepted the purpose.
he's
He's
already
already
there.
expected the clarion call of this is what I'm supposed to be here doing. So I'm going to do it with or without anybody. Right. See what I'm trying to say to you? This help me is just a bonus. It's a good thing. You know what I'm trying to say to you? So my thing is this. When a man finds his purpose, he's in pole position. When a woman finds her peace, she's in pole position.
Yeah, and that's for next
and
week when we
purpose.
talk about purpose
Relationships and stuff.
and peace and how that impacts relationship. Because now, you know, the therapy head is on. I don't even have a watch here, but I know we got 5 minutes later, so we have to summarize and bring this
We
stuff
got less
together,
than
isn't
5
it?
minutes.
So it's been...
It was a good one.
It's been helpful because we started talking about Mark and his journey of forgiveness, and then we spoke a little bit about pain and purpose. What gives us purpose? Sometimes we have to go through a cycle of pain to become better, to become more in tune with ourselves.
Well, there's a saying for you. If you want good, your nose have to run.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. It's going through
True.
all of that to
Yeah.
get to the greater goal.
And through that pain, we find some purpose and we find meaning. And when we find that purpose in ourselves, we spoke about how do we then translate that to forgiveness. And we started to dig a little bit about what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is, as Milo said, when he went and he saw all of these deeds flash before him, he cried because I needed to forgive myself. I needed to let that go. And then Milo also said that I reflected on the harm that I've caused others. And it's made me think about my level of forgiveness Mark, you spoke about this person that was disrespected your that precious occasion for your dad. And how you lock them off in a box. You like just said, you see them, if you're size 11, you just keep that down. But you're not doing that because now they don't mean nothing. Spencer, you talk about some of the things that you've gone through in terms of, to up my game, I need to learn that level of forgiveness. And then we did a little bit of dancing around, actually, do you need to do some deeper work where as men, we always used to have brotherhoods of men where men would sit down. So when I spoke earlier on about the big men that I used to be around, the man, they used to hold council, regular council.
What does that look like?
What did that look like? It looked like this. We just didn't have video camera. So when the man, they're sitting down and they got a problem and they're in Hilltop and they're talking and say, there's some stuff we need to sort out. There might be straighteners that needed to be sorted out. There's conflict, there's bits missing or whatever. Round table. When the man that was going to get Bridge Park, brotherhood of men, they sat down, and it's really weird because I'm aware of the time. Leonard Johnson, Brownie, Delaney, all Christians. So they did that with the guidance. And I think for us now, and for the people listening, sometimes you need to get that isolation, you need to get that solitude, you need to seek counsel, and forgiveness is a process that you have to go through daily. You have to do it daily. You don't forget the harm, but that forgiveness is daily. And when you learn self-compassion, you can learn that forgiveness. So I think I've kind of summarized. I don't know if you want to outro.
Yeah, there's a couple of sayings I want to say.
Yeah, go on.
But I'll let you do first.
Well, I was going to round up, but if you want to do that, because I thought we were rounding up right now.
Yeah,
So.
well, there's a couple of sayings leading on to what Mark said. Yeah, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. My daddy always used to say that. Yeah, you can bring an ass to the water, but you can't do it.
Pass it to drink.
it.
Yeah?
That's right.
Yeah, and you know, I thank God for this session because, to be honest with you, it's made me look at still stories I haven't told for years. You know what I'm trying to say? And the more, when I go back and really think about it, we lived a colourful life.
I think
Very
I was
colourful.
mostly touched, yeah, after all the stories you told, the gyro book.
Bible,
Yeah. And is the skill or the sense or the mind to not grab your book when you saw it. I couldn't have done that. So I'll take my hat off to you on that one. And then, not just did you not grab it, you didn't accuse him, you didn't make him know, look, you see, what's this about, bro? Like, we're family, we're blood, what's this? You understand? You didn't do none of that. That would have been my first instinct, so I commend you again for that. But then, he was the bad guy in that first part of the story.
Became the
But I
good
didn't
guy.
know the second part of the story was coming. Because what he done, we've had Rolexes come on. What he's done to take, only my wife or my missus
Could get that.
can get that. So, again, even though he was the villain in the first part of the story,
Became the superhero.
he became a superhero to me in the second part of the story. So that's a very telling story.
I wouldn't go as far. I wouldn't go as far as to say superhero.
Because
What we
remember,
touched on is
he don't know.
conscience.
He don't know.
He doesn't know that
That
Milo
Milo knew.
Yes, but
And
he
that's the
knew,
key.
But he
Right.
knew. So when he saw Milo approach him now, and he's in a situation, he knows what he done to him.
That, in my eyes, makes him a hero in a way. You know that I would have written him off in the first part of the story.
Right. And I hear that and I respect that. He would have been more of a hero to me if he had done that. And a little while after, he talked to Milo and said, you know what, I done you a thing some years ago, and
I hear
I'm
you.
going to make up
I hear
for
you.
it.
And
sometimes
You
it's
understand?
time.
Then
hear
he's
you.
my hero
I hear
because
you.
he's backed it all.
I hear you. But the fact he trusted Milo to get the watch out and come gain back his watch whenever Milo had it.
He
to
knew
do.
Milo's character.
Yeah. Right.
You know somebody.
You still got to give him a pat on the back.
Yeah,
you still
yeah.
kind of got to commend the guy, and
Oh,
that's
of
a
course,
very
yeah,
telling
yeah,
story.
yeah.
And then the second thing or two things other than that is, one, you're very right. What came out of it today, every person, man, woman, children got their parents for that. Once we're grown, many of us don't go to our mums, and that, some of them are gone. Every person needs somebody that they can listen to.
Everybody needs a mentor.
But it depends on the person.
I take out my 50 bucks. Take out my money right now.
Why? Scotty, things kind of tight. Christmas will come, man.
Contact Scotty.
I need a ticket, man. I need a
Contact
session.
Scotty. And then finally, the last thing was the I've lost my chain of thought now. What was it? There was it's okay, man. I'll probably remember in a minute. But it was everyone needs someone to talk to. Oh, and the line about forgiving yourself first.
Right.
Or no, remembering
The things you've
the
done.
things that you done to other people.
Yeah.
While you're being mad about what was done to you.
Yes.
Those two things, the story was excellent and really touching. But aside from the story, two things I'm taking away from this. Everybody should have somebody they can talk to. And that.
I think that encapsulate the show.
Yeah.
What we've spoken about today. So that rounds it off really well. I gotta say, I've really enjoyed this. And
We're gonna miss you
it's
next
a
week,
shame
man.
Next week that but
Gambia.
Wednesday's my birthday actually.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday in advance,
in sunny Gambia, but I don't know if the Wi-Fi footage I got last.
No. If you're there, Serakunda, it might work.
Enjoy your birthday, bro.
We
Enjoy your
definitely
birthday.
got to do this in going forward, 2024. We've definitely got to do this.
We were talking
Yeah,
about
and we'll
one
have
for
some
month,
discussions
And get
about
some other men in, man.
Yeah,
Get some other,
and
because there's so much
rotate it
rich
up
men
and-
out there that's got some wisdom and
Yeah,
knowledge.
Rich in
doing
wisdom.
this and
Rich in
sharing
wisdom.
the knowledge and everything else.
Yeah, I mean.
I love it, man.
So I'm happy to
And-
pass up my
yeah,
seat and
so
give it to
joke aside, with the £50.
Yes, sir.
This is therapy. What people don't realise
We done
when
it for
people
free.
enter the relationship is the therapy. I could have Gestalt, Freudian, Psychod. I can have all of that stuff in my bag. If I don't build relationships with people, I can't go into the bag
And that's
to
next
take
week.
anything out.
And that's
so
next
yeah,
week.
So you don't know the thing, go.
Listen,
Boom, bam.
it's been a wonderful time. Thank you, people, for
Yeah.
listening and joining us. And
Thank you
I
so
hope you
much.
tune in for the last episode next week. This is Man's Mental Health and Healing Podcast, Secrets to Success. We are.
And Mark.
Before we sign off, I remember me and Mark,
Yes, your
Mark
book.
was meant to bring his book,
Yes,
and I
sir.
remember to bring mine.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's the book
Yes,
that I
sir.
wrote, City Jungles, A Tale
Wow,
of the Inner
author.
City by
Big
Anthony
author.
Spencer. So if you're watching, go have a look on it on Amazon. You can still
Respect,
find it.
brother.
Respect, Dan.
And you
Yes.
see it's a big book. This ain't no Mickey Mouse book. 368 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah? So proper book.
What's
Guys,
the name of
thank
it
you
again?
again.
What's the name of it?
City Jungle.
City Jungles, A Tale of the Inner City.
Wow.
Yeah? So it's a story about jungles. where
Well
we came
done, my
from,
brother. Well done.
Yeah? Right?
Well done.
Cheers.
All right.
Yeah.
We out. God bless.
See ya.
See ya. Bye-bye. Well, that was all. Is it?